Biden, for the first time today, really addressed all of this. Here's part of what he had to say earlier on the protests at the White House. Watch.
I understand people have strong feelings and deep convictions. In America, we respect the right and protect the right for them to express that. But it doesn't mean anything goes. It needs to be done without violence, without destruction, without hate, and within the law.
All right, let's talk to our panel about all of this. We have them both here in studio, which is terrific. Caroline Downey is a reporter for the National Review, visiting fellow at the Independent Women's Forum. Kaivan Shroff is a Democratic strategist, press secretary for Dream for America. All right, Mr. Democratic strategist, I guess it makes sense to start with you on how the president handled all of this today, not only as a quote-unquote Democratic strategist, but as a young Democratic voter.
Sure, I think the president tried to strike a pretty difficult balance given his coalition. But look, I think he acknowledged that student protest has long been part of our history. When I was a student at Brown, they protested divest coal. When I was at Yale, they protested, they wanted Calhoun College renamed.
Is this just a way of you telling us all the
list goes on. But no, when I was
at
Harvard, right, they protested about Kavanaugh being on faculty.
Right.
So this is nothing new. What is new here is that the president of Columbia really took an escalatory act when she called the police, a police force notorious for misconduct, on her own students. So this is a difficult
fair, they had
situation.
broken into a building.
No, not when, right? She called them before that happened.
Oh, you're talking about the first time only?
Right.
You were fine with the second time?
Oh, I think that was appropriate, and I think, again, that's the balance that a lot of speakers on this are trying to find, and I think the president hit the right tone.
What do you think, Caroline? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how it impacts the campaign. It's a huge issue now. It's all over the news every single day. I don't know if it still will be by November, but how do you see it in terms of the political impact?
I think Biden has been relatively reticent because he knows it's a lose-lose.
That's why it took him 10 days.
Right. Academia is burning under his watch, and he has Jewish constituents who are very much alarmed by all this, but he's afraid to alienate the far-left flank of the party. But by striking this weird balance, like you said, by trying to tread this tightrope, he risks losing, swing state voters on both sides of the conflict. We already saw the Senate Republicans' campaign arm is running ads, tying Biden to this campus chaos. And at the University of Alabama, this viral footage. Protesters on both sides of the barricades were screaming expletive Joe Biden. So I think we could see,
Right. In other words, the left-wing protesters don't like Biden. They're upset with his war policy, and the right-wing obviously don't as well. I did see that. But...
Well, extremists on both sides have a lot in common, but I think it's a little absurd, honestly, to say that Biden's speech today tried to placate the far left of the party. I don't think there's one thing he said today that group is going to find appealing or interesting. I think he made a very decided choice. He's going for the moderates.
Are you in that group?
What we saw today.
You would say, if you had to describe yourself,
I would say I'm a moderate, strong Joe Biden Democrat.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you wouldn't identify with the far left of the party?
I don't think so
Because I was wondering about younger voters on the left.
Yeah, but I think actually there's a lot of young voters that don't agree with this. First of all, there's a whole lot of Gen Z Jewish students on these campuses. By the way, some participating in these protests, especially the peaceful ones. And so I don't think we can put the 70 million Gen Z voters in a bucket. It seems to be the incentive is to pick that one crazy protester and make them go super viral and keep sharing that video on both sides, by the way. But, somehow the violent attack by purported pro-Israel folks at UCLA doesn't get the same coverage as the protests, even when they were peaceful on some of these campuses.
Well, it is interesting now,
to see.
I guess, it is interesting how social media, especially with videos, and, this is not 1968 in that regard. That point is true. What were you were about to say something?
I would say up until this point, Biden had been appeasing, I would say, the far left flank of his party, the pro-Palestinian protests. But, I mean, it's a very delicate line, and I think what we're going to see is a repeat of BLM. This is anarchy in every sense of the word, and it's going to culminate at the Democratic National Convention.
I think it's an interesting point. I don't know if you're right or wrong about that, but the reason I would push back a little bit on it, I think if anything, he's had an issue with the far left in his party, particularly the protest votes in a lot of these states. I mean, that's where that's coming from. That they don't seem thrilled with him. I don't know how much of an effect it has. That's a different question, by the way.
I mean, no, I was going to joke. You had my former professor. I know I'm not supposed to say I went to Harvard, Cornell West, on before earlier today, right? And I think
yesterday,
he had nothing positive to say about what Joe Biden's done here. So certainly that flank of the party is interested not in solutions, not in getting things done, not even their own agenda, right? I watched his interview. You said, is this an effective tactic? He basically said, no.
Right, no, he did.
I mean, pretty interesting.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.